One, Sister Florence Mwamba Malunga. She will talk on the vision of Cardinal Lavigerie. A brief biography of Sister Florence. Sister Florence is a member of the congregation of the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of Africa, originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo. She is in mission in Tanzania at Tandale Social Development Center in the Archdiocese of Dar es Salaam. She is Tangaza alumni in the Institute of Youth Studies. So welcome Sister Florence to take a seat. The second speaker is Sister Redempta Kabaheza. She will talk on action. The missionary sister, she is also a member of the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of Africa, and she will talk on the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of Africa's project for women care and advancement. The experience at Pope Francis Rescue Home in Malindi. Sister Redempta, welcome. So now let us pay our attention to Sister Florence, who will give us her talk on the vision of Cardinal Charles Lavigerie. Karibu, Sister.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. We continue with our afternoon session, the vision of Cardinal Lavigerie on the promotion of women.
Just a technical problem. Just go ahead.
Throughout history, women have always assumed a central role in ensuring the stability, progress, and long-term development of families, communities, nations, and human society in general. Cardinal Lavigerie, a man who was always ahead of his own time, believed in the special and indispensable role that women play in development of humanity. He had progressive ideas about the role of women in society and in missionary apostolate. In particular, he dedicated his old age to support the apostolate of women, whom he saw as apostles and indispensable partners of their male counterparts. Looking at the role of women in the Holy Gospels, starting with the Blessed Virgin Mary, our mother, and the women in his own life, Cardinal Lavigerie believed in the important role of Christian women in spearheading transformation in society through the sharing of the gospel of liberation. From my reading and trying to understand the vision of Cardinal Lavigerie on the promotion of women, I can say that his broad vision is that women are transformers of society. I think Sister Ellen spoke quite a lot this morning about that. Cardinal Lavigerie was already speaking of the essential role of women in the world and in the church before the campaign of the liberation of women as it is known today. His vision, women are transformers of society from within. Their crucial work greatly contribute to the progressive transformation of societies, the interior liberation of people, and the integral development of humanity. Cardinal Lavigerie's broad-minded vision stemmed from his belief in the universal church that embraces all people and adapts to diverse cultures and contexts. I find 5 main aspects in his strategic action. The first one is that Christian women are the best apostles to other women. The second, Christian women need to engage in advocacy in favor of their sisters who need liberation. The third, women are evangelizers and leaders of their families. The fourth, holistic approach in the work of promotion of women is essential. And the fifth one, women involvement in public sectors is needed to transform society. I will elaborate in short each point. As for the promotion of women apostles, women among women, I will not speak much because it was well elaborated this morning by Sister Ellen. Thank you, Sister Ellen. You facilitated my work already. I will go to the second point, women advocating for other women. Liberation of women by women. In 1871, 17 years before he launched his anti-slavery campaign, Lavigerie affirmed the important role of women for the mission in Africa. He held that Christian women need to engage in the work of advocacy and especially to talk to their husbands who are rulers so that fair rules could be adopted in favor of their sisters who were in bondage. Talking to the postulants in the clothing ceremony, he said, "These young girls are destined to carry the light of the gospel to the very center of Africa, which is steeped in darkness." Speaking of thousands sold into slavery, he added, "Among the victims, the women and the children are most numerous, and also the most to be pitied because of the infamy to which they are subjected." This, you can find it from the Society of the Missionaries of Africa History Series, number 11. And as I don't know if that picture is clear, when I was going through reading, I came across some of these pictures, and as I could identify a woman, I could feel my heart really breaking to see that this situation was so pathetic and how Lavigerie could have felt. I see a woman carrying a child, and this woman is in chains. We can just imagine how it was. These were the caravans taken, and also that at one time, the slave traders
They came more to taking women because they saw that women were fearful, they could not run like men. And they will take more women for farming work. And also some kings could even allow themselves to have as many as 200 wives because they take women who were slaves. And this other picture shows women who were rescued by our sisters in Tabora. So the situation of women was really pathetic. And Lavigerie did not stop at the sisters rescuing women. He went on talking, advocating. And this time, on 31st July 1888 in London, in his conference during the anti-slavery campaign, the Cardinal addressed himself especially to women in these terms. Christian women of Europe and England, it is up to you to make these horrors known everywhere, so as to arouse the civilized world indignation against them. Leave no peace to your fathers, your husbands, your brothers. Make use of the authority which is theirs because of their eloquence, their fortune, their position in the country to stop the bloodshed of your sisters. Therefore, it is very dear and clear to Lavigerie that advocacy, lobbying, networking in different forms is very meaningful in the work of liberation, and especially that women need to engage themselves for other women. They should be the ones who understand better the pain and the struggle of other women. My third point, the vision, is women are evangelizers and leaders of their family. Cardinal Lavigerie held that the lasting work of evangelization will be done by Africans themselves, who would become Christian and missionaries to their own people. He affirmed that women are mothers and leaders. They are the first evangelizers. A woman is at the source of all because she is mother. Her children are us. She makes of them. I think this was already well talked about by Sister Hélène. I will go to the next point as we are running short of time. The fourth one is holistic approach in the work of promotion of women. Progressively, Lavigerie's vision to the promotion of women called for a holistic approach. When he started our congregation, it was home visiting and taking care of orphans, which he saw at a time that it was not enough. Sisters needed to engage in education, and education in its different forms was needed to allow the empowerment of women and children. The advancement of women is essential to the missionary sisters of Our Lady of Africa, taking it from the vision of the founder. And during the retreat in August 1955, the Superior General reminded the sister that adaptation must apply to our work. The Cardinal intended us for Africa, but placed no restriction on the kind of work we should do in our apostolate. We were, in thought sense, especially for women, to give them communication in divine life. We could do anything which could help them mentally, morally, intellectually, and spiritually. Women involvement in public sector would transform society. This vision of Lavigerie started by the foundation of the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of Africa, whom he wanted to be an active congregation, not a cluster. Involved with the orphan, with the families, and going out to touch society with the power of the gospel in the example of the holy women who followed Christ. He realized the crucial role of women in the work of education and hence social development in general. Through him, the Msola continued this vision, and it is realized through health sector, informal and informal education, especially creating centers and schools that promote education of girls, home economics, nursing schools, teaching colleges, and so on. In a nutshell, this is what I can share with you today from my literature review about a broad vision of Cardinal Lavigerie. I hope I have communicated something. And really, for him, the liberation and empowerment of women are very crucial because women are transformers of society from within. Their crucial work greatly contributes to the progressive transformation of societies, the interior liberation of people, and the integral development of humanity. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much for saving 3 minutes for us. Thank you. Just give a big round of applause again for Sister. Now we invite Sister Redemptor to come forward to give us her talk.
Good afternoon. Continuing with Cardinal Lavigerie's vision, we are looking at the action now, and I'm going to share with you about women's empowerment, a Msola experience at Pope Francis Rescue Home in Malindi Catholic Diocese. And we will look at it in rescuing, rehabilitating, and reintegrating survivors of child sexual abuse while empowering families and communities to live with dignity. In summary, Pope Francis Rescue Home was founded in 2015 in Malindi as a temporary safe haven for survivors of sexual abuse from the Malindi, Magarini, Tana Delta sub-counties and Lamu County. The types of cases admitted over the years include defilement, incest, sex tourism, gang rape, sodomy, child prostitution, child marriage, and newborns resulting from these abuses. Survivors are offered counseling, preparation for court sessions, spiritual nourishment, education, skills training, parental care, and preparation for safe reintegration into the community. Pope Francis Rescue Home in numbers, only those who are admitted at the center. Since 2015 to 31st of August 2025. That's when I took these numbers. In total, 911 survivors who have been admitted in the center. Females are 811 and males are 100. And those who have already exited the center, we have 880 survivors in total, and females being 784 and males 97. Current, when I left Malindi, we had 30 residents, females being 27 and males 3. those who are admitted in the center, the girls, all girls below 18, but for boys, 12 years and below. So the focus is more on the girl child, and though boys are helped, some are helped outside the center, and if they are above 12 years. Why women's empowerment matters at Pope Francis Rescue Home. Families in Malindi, Magarini, Tana Delta, and Lamu face high poverty, leaving women with little means to provide for children, as most caregivers are women. Empowering them with income and skills strengthens households and reduces vulnerability to abuse. Girls' school transition rates are low, often due to early pregnancy, marriage, or lack of school fees. Empowered women keep their girls in school, restore dignity to themselves and their families, creating ripple effects of protection, resilience, and hope across communities. The pathways of empowerment, what we do to empower the women. At PFRH, when I say PFRH is Pope Francis Rescue Home. At PFRH, empowerment is lived out in many forms, each tailored to the unique needs of survivors and vulnerable families. In this presentation, we will walk through 6 pathways that show how dignity is restored and futures are rebuilt. Education support, household economic strengthening program, psychosocial support, skills empowerment, support to vulnerable mothers, and efforts against human trafficking. Each pathway will be brought to life through the story of a woman whose journey reflects the transformative power of empowerment at PFRH. But I will just give a few with the interest of time. On the pathway of education, I'm just going to give a story of one of the survivors. Survivor to role model. I'm using, this name is not her name, so her identity is not revealed. Zawadi was admitted to PFRH at a defilement case that left her pregnant at a 16 years of age. She gave birth to her son while at PFRH, and after the counseling process and psychosocial support that she received, her hope was restored, and she was determined to go back to school. As her family was not able to take her back to school, PFRH supported her back to secondary school and later to college, where she pursued a diploma in secretariat. Zawadi got a good job after her studies, and with her new income, she's now able to support her family and pay school fees for her son, breaking the cycle of vulnerability that once defined her life. To the girls at PFRH, she is a living proof that resilience, when nurtured with opportunity, leads to transformation. She is grateful for the chance that allowed her not just to survive, but to thrive and inspire. We also look at a mother restoring dignity. This is another story of Jessie, a 31-year-old single mother of 3, saw her world collapse when her husband defiled their firstborn daughter and was convicted to life imprisonment. Jessie was left to shoulder the entire weight of parenthood alone. One of her children lives with special needs, making her struggle even heavier. Without reliable income, she faced food shortages, constant rent arrears, and the looming threat of homelessness. Musola sisters stepped in and trained Jesse to start a soap-making business, providing her with a sustainable source of income. A small piece of land was bought and a small house put up where her children can call home. Under Musola Education Support Program, her 2 children were enrolled in school. With grit and determination, Jesse now runs her business, pays for household needs, and fully provides for her special needs child's schooling. She, after being trained as a foster mother, has opened her home to vulnerable PFRH graduates who need temporary shelter as they transition back into the community. Jesse embodies resilience, showing that when women are empowered, they not only reclaim their own lives, but also create safe, hopeful futures for their children. I will leave out some because of time. Combating human trafficking through empowerment. In coastal Kenya, poverty and lack of opportunity expose many young women to the false promises of unsafe migration. Frida, a 20-year-old young mother, was not able to complete her schooling due to early pregnancy and was struggling to raise her son with no stable support. Out of desperation, she considered leaving for Saudi Arabia through irregular routes, chasing promises of a better life. Hearing her story, the sisters intervened and through PFRH project, offered her an alternative of being sponsored to train in tailoring at a local polytechnic and also pay school fees for her son until she finishes her course. Today, she's learning new skills that will allow her to earn a living and support her son through honest work. Her story reflects how empowerment interventions at PFRH not only restore hope, but also prevent human trafficking before it begins. These are just few stories of many young women that have been supported and their lives have changed in the community. So as I conclude, allow me to use to quote the words of our dear founder when his heart was burning with a desire to end slave trade. As our hearts as Musola are still burning also to end modern slave trade. I am a man. Injustice towards other men revolts my heart. I am a man. Oppression fills my nature with indignation. I am a man. Cruelty against so many of my fellows inspires nothing but horror in me. I am a man, and what I would want done to give me freedom, honor, the sacred bonds of family, I want to do to restore family honor, freedom to the sons of this unfortunate race. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sister Redemptor. For the presentation about the project in Malindi for this rescue center. Once again, let's put our hands together for her. I would like to call a third one Before we start the questions and answers with Mrs. Mary Wamalwa to come and give her presentation from the perspective of the Lavigerie Lay Missionary Association of Kenya. Mary Wamalwa, a parishioner of Our Lady Queen of Peace and a member of Lavigerie Lay Missionary Association Kenya, a strong defender of human dignity through the prison ministry, Kefabis. Welcome.
In the interest of time, good afternoon. I was trying to switch on the slideshow, but seem to be having challenges, so I'll go straight to my presentation so that we stick within the 15 minutes. So, the Lavigerie Lay Association of Kenya, we are trying to give our story. How are we living the charism of Cardinal Charles Lavigerie as a defender of human rights or human dignity? In brief, I'll be addressing the who are the lay, the why do they exist, the what, that is what they do, and the how. Why the lay ministry? Okay, the Lay Lavigerie Missionary Association of Kenya is a group of Catholic lay faithfuls, predominantly from Nairobi, who are attracted by the charism of missionaries of Africa and missionary sisters of Our Lady of Africa, and have chosen to collaborate with them in the works of evangelization. This is summarized in our logo, where we have those four hands. So the first hand from the top, where Cardinal came in when he came to start his mission in Africa, represents the missionaries of Africa. The second arm represents the missionary sisters of Our Lady of Africa. And this third arm represents the Lavigerie Lay Association of Kenya. The fourth arm is the people of Africa, the marginalized, that we are coming together, the three arms, to be able to collaborate and reach out to the marginalized in society. So that's how we came up with our logo. Why the lay ministry exists? Cardinal Charles Lavigerie at his time sought the help of lay groups who assisted his missionaries in various ministries in order to reach the people. So if at his time he saw the need and the importance of the lay group, we too feel that need is still relevant even today as we continue his works of evangelization. And from record, we have groups like the Associations of Monica and St. Augustine. These ones were mainly involved in prayer, charity, adoption of the orphans, and sponsorship of the missionaries. We also had the Potters, Arm Auxiliaries, They helped the missionaries with taking care of security and accompanying them as they traveled to the rest of the African countries. We had the African doctors and catechists, and these ones were trained in this area. Then lastly, we had the interpreters and local experts. They helped the missionaries understand the reality and the need of the people that they were going to serve. So just as there was the need for the lay ministry that time, so does it still exist in the present. The why continues. Among Cardinal's many quotes, there's one that says, the lasting work will be done by the Africans themselves when they become Christians and apostles. So as the lay, we feel that wearing the local outfit, the Kenyan outfit, we have a role to play in positively impacting in the works of evangelization. And how are we doing this? We are collaborating with missionaries of Africa and missionary sisters of Our Lady of Africa in the various apostolates. So ours is a collaborative ministry. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we are coming in and saying we are ready to fold our sleeves and help you reach out to the touch points that you want to create impact when you are reaching out to the marginalized. So we have these 4 ministries which our members are actively involved in. We have the prisons ministry, we have the care for the refugees, justice and peace, and care for the environment. So in the interest of time, I'll not go through each one of them. I will concentrate on the prisons ministry. So in the prisons ministry, how are the lay impacting lives? We have a ministry called Kefabis, who they advocate. They are strong defender of human dignity. Kefabis stands for Kenya ex-prisoners fighting or seeking for acceptance back into society. It was founded in 2013 to assist in the work of reintegrating ex-prisoners back into society. And at that time, it was that most of the prisoners were facing a lot of rejection. And therefore, when they would come out of prisons, when they are released, they are either rejected in society or stigmatized. And there were quite a number of reported suicide cases or reoffending. So you find that when they come out, when they face rejection in the society, the easiest thing is to commit even as a small crime so that they find their way back into prison, the only place they felt accepted. So at this point we felt we can offer a voice. We can offer a voice to be able to advocate for their human dignity, for their acceptance, and for the society to feel like they also belong and they should be accepted with love. So our motto, we came up with our motto, tuwapokee kwa huruma na upendo. Let us accept them back into society with mercy and love. So this was mainly, the group was mainly formed to be able to assist the ex-prisoners. But when we started now in our ministry, we realized the needs of the ex-prisoners starts when they are still in prison. So then we sat and asked ourselves, what else can we do to be able to help those who are in prison, and also as they come out to the world, to be able to journey with them, to be able to make them feel appreciated and feel that there are people out there who care about them. So we came up then with 4 categories of the prisons ministry. The first one is the foster parenting, where we create awareness for their support, advocacy for their needs when they are in prison. They have spiritual needs, they have physical needs, and all we do when we are creating awareness is to let those whom we interact with, either in our reach out animations or those who visit prisons, to know that they can be able to adopt a prisoner. So we use the slogan, adopt a prisoner. So when you adopt a prisoner, what are you expected to do for this prisoner? Walk with this prisoner, be there for them, show them love, show them that there's somebody who cares for them. And among their physical needs, it's very simple. All that prisoner needs is soap, toilet paper, toothpaste, and toothbrush. You can imagine somebody who is put in prison for 10 years and they don't have soap. How is their human dignity? Somebody who is in prison and they don't have toilet paper. How does it affect their human dignity? So we encourage groups that are visiting prisons that adopt a prisoner. And how we go about the foster parenting, we liaise with the catechists in prisons to be able to identify the needy cases. There are those in prison, once they are put in, their families reject them. No one will visit them. Friends will never visit them. So through the catechists, they are able to identify for us the needy cases who really deserve to be assisted. And through that, then we are able to pair up and we get foster parents from outside who can then be able to adopt them and work with them. Then we have, secondly, the counseling ministry, where these prisoners, when they are inside, they face a lot of trauma. So we need people to come in and assist them, to journey with them and counsel them. We have the pro bono legal services, that is representation. And under this, when the prisoners have to go to court for their cases, you find most of them lack representation. And therefore, either they are put in, they are now jailed, or they don't put up a strong defense. So we request the lawyers who are experts in this area to be able to come in and offer legal services for them. And then the last one is the reintegration. When the prisoners leave the prison, the most they are given is fare to reach where they were arrested from. So how do they make their way from there? It becomes very hard. So now that's where we pick up from the discharge board and be able to identify those cases who are facing rejection and need to be journeyed with to be able to get acceptance back into society. So in the interest of time, I will move to my next slides, where our ask in this ministry. What are we doing in the short run? In the short run, we are planning for celebration for the Jubilee for the ex-prisoners in Nairobi. This will happen in November, which will bring together all ex-prisoners to be able to share the gains that have been so far realized in this ministry and what is it that we are required to do better going forward. Then in the medium run term, we have an intention of building up a financial reserve. Because as the board of KEFABIS, you find there are many medical needs that come up which require our attention. Medical bills, school fees, rent, food, business setup, and the like. So in the medium term, if we are able to build up that reserve, then it will help us to address these needs. In the long term, we are looking at having a halfway safe house, where if these inmates, when they are released and they are rejected, they have somewhere where they can stay and feel safe. So, because of time, let me just wind up. And my conclusion is that we rely on well-wishers to support this prisons ministry. Therefore, we are welcoming you all to be a part of our story, to be able to realize the vision of Cardinal Charles Lavigerie. And at this juncture, I would like to invite a witness who will come and share her story. She is a lady whose journey of life has been touched by prison. through her own personal experience. She was once robbed of her human dignity. She understands firsthand the pain of confinement, but also knows the transformative power of God's mercy. Her encounter with missionaries of Africa, priests, and other well-wishers, she echoes in Jesus' words in Matthew 25, verse 36, "I was in prison and you visited me." She is a strong defender of human dignity and the Reintegration of Ex-Prisoners program, and her advocacy has won her recognition in global events with the United Nations on the Nelson Mandela platform. She is a living testimony that reintegration is possible for those who have fallen. You should not define them by their past. Show them love and a second chance to rebuild their lives. Our God is a God of a second chance. Let's put our hands together and welcome Jane Ouma.
Everybody, my name is Jane Ouma, and I was convicted for committing a crime of offense, domestic violence. I was taken to Langata Women Prison for 10 years. I walked into prison 5 months pregnant with my son, who is now in Form 3. I left a daughter who was in class 3 and is now in campus. I'm an advocate for women, girls, and children who have been impacted by the criminal justice system, and that is what I do on a daily basis under the assistance of KFABs. And so my reintegration journey has been a success with the help of the missionaries. When I came back, I was attached to missionaries of Africa through the South B Church. Father Innocent played a very important role in my reintegration journey. Bishop Kipani, Father Martin, Father Fidel, who is currently in Malindi, and Father Peter Mainberg, who supported my reintegration journey, and I was able to complete my sentence. My family is back intact. The fathers helped talk to my husband, who was very apologetic in going out of marriage. And I had 2 sisters, Sister Sunday, who is a lecturer here at Tangaza, and my godmother, who is Sister Christine. She's in Kisumu. They both walked with me in the journey, and I'm very grateful for the work they've done in my life. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this moving story. First, from the work of our lay members, the Lavigerie Lay Missionary Association of Kenya. These are working with us, trying to journey and live our charism together as lay from their families, and for the moving story of our sister. Let's put our hands together for them. Now we have these 3 speakers before us. We will have 3 questions addressed to them, and then from there we'll move to the 3rd talk. So it is now time of question and answers. So anyone who has a question addressed to any of these 3 speakers, you are most welcome. Any question?
Thank you very much for your presentation. They are very touching and quite holistic. You talked of, I think it is Sister Redemptor, but I think the question can be answered. Somebody who presented about the prisons, I'm sorry, I'm not very sure who among you, but what I want to find out is, you have said that the way you are able to identify, actually it is the one presenting on the lay missionaries. Yeah. You talked of, you are able to identify the different cases in prisons through the catechists. And so I was asking myself, do you kind of narrow your ministry to Catholics, or when you go through the catechists, are you in prison, are you able to like reach out to other faith traditions or denominations? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question?
Thank you, presenters. I would like to ask for all of you the challenges that you face, and especially when you get those who have been divided, how do their families come in as you continue to help them to understand their problem and to be able to go out of that trauma?
Thank you for the question. The third question. Any other question?
And mine really is not a question as such, but it is to affirm the Lavigerie
Lay Missionary Association Kenya.
Because in our meetings these past 2 weeks, we've been talking about sharing our charism with lay people. How do we open up our charism so that lay people like you can participate in that charism? And I'm just happy to hear that while we are talking about this, it is as if this is the first time lay people are having an opportunity to participate in our charism. And you are making us aware that already at the time of Lavigerie, you mentioned at least 4 areas where lay people were already participating in this charism. And that is what you are continuing. So we are not really reinventing the wheel, as you said. It is something that has been ongoing, and all we just have to do is to continue to support and collaborate with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we give them the opportunity. We have only 2 questions, and then we move to the next part. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So on the question of how you get to reintegrate back an inmate into society, identify an inmate. So reintegration starts from the inside. So either way, inmates who go to prison, they have different churches they associate with. You'll either find Catholics, the Muslims, they all have their chaplaincy. So you identify, for example, I'm Catholic, I identify with the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church will start my journey of reintegration back by contacting me. They will journey with me in the space of counseling. Then after that, they will get in contact with my family on the outside. If there are challenges of reuniting back, maybe because you offended in that area, they ensure that they form the reconciliation platform for the person you harmed or the person who you are in conflict with. Then they make sure you are aware of what's going on the outside, and the outside people are aware to receive you back when you go back into society, so that there is no conflict post-imprisonment. So they get in touch with us when we are still serving time, prepare the path for where we are going. If there is rejection, then they find a space where they can accommodate you for some time before they make peace with the person you offended or the environment where you committed the crime. Thank you.
And just to add, there was a question on whether do we reach out to other faiths. So we are not discriminative, and just in the words of Cardinal Lavigerie, be all to all. So when we are given those cases which are non-Catholic, we'll still journey with them and ensure that we are able to come in and assist. Thank you. Then there was the other issue. I think she has touched on the challenges that we encounter in the ministry. The challenges are many. As I had alluded to the financial need, those who have had a chance to visit the prisons, you saw the numbers. And with those numbers, if you don't have proper finances, it's not easy to actually be able to meet their needs as and when they arise. There are times when the groups visiting the prisons are high, maybe during Advent, during Lent, because many groups are going for their works of charity. After that, the numbers will go down. So what happens? Then it means even the support that is coming in also goes down. Then we also have challenges. As much as we'll try to journey with this and prepare the ground for reintegration, there are times you find ourselves with the inmates have already come out and there is no landing. The families back home, the preparedness is not there. So we have to look for a temporary holding place as you continue the mediation on the family side. Maybe you have to bring in now the parish team from where they come from and use now the parishes where the inmates are coming from to be able to come in as mediators until you create that safe environment where now you can be able to take the inmates that have been released back. So sometimes you have to accompany them and be able to even organize for mass on the ground to see that they have not come alone. They are being accompanied by others who already have embraced them and they love them, and therefore the families and society should be able to also accept them. Then the issue of stigma, as much as we would want to downplay it, it's real. Just the fact that somebody was in prison is enough. If the inmate comes out, anything happening in society, they become the first suspect. Any offense that takes place, so-and-so, he was in prison, so-and-so's child. So they become the first victims of stigmatization. And that really affects them. And that's why there are reported cases of suicides. There are reported cases of now them committing petty offenses to be able to go back where they feel safe. So that also is a challenge. Acceptance is not that easy as we might think. It's really a journey. It's really, it really calls for work that you need to work on to be able now to bring the family, the inmate, the society to that level of accepting that this person has reformed and they can be given a second chance to rebuild their life. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any? I think we are done with the questions.
There is one question.
On?
Challenges that we face for those who are defiled and how the family comes in.
Okay, go ahead.
For those who are defiled and are admitted in the center, the moment they come in, we start the journey of counseling for them. Each of them is assigned a counselor, a professional counselor, and the journey of family counseling starts also. So as we journey with the girl in the center, we also contact the families. If the family is safe, because there are cases of incest where we cannot go to the family. If
the girl has been abused by a biological father or a big brother, normally that is a very challenging case. So we normally don't go to visit that family. So we journey with the child, and in most cases, we look for an alternative relative. In most cases, we find other relatives. For example, the family is in Malindi. The girl will tell you, I have an uncle or an auntie or somebody in Nairobi or in somewhere in Kenya. So we try to contact that person and listen to the person. If the person is supportive to the girl, then we go to the government now, the children office. So they will give custody to this relative who is ready to journey with the child or to stay with the girl. So now the counseling will be with this other relative who has accepted, who has offered to support the girl. So if the family is safe, we do family counseling. The child herself will take the social worker and the counselor to home, to her family, and we visit the family and we do family sessions. Sometimes we have to do the reconciliations, because sometimes, especially the teenagers who have run from home, got boyfriends and get pregnant, things like that. Sometimes the families are not ready to receive them back. But through our visits and the reconciliation ceremonies and family counseling, normally at the end there is that reconciliation and the healing goes together for the one defiled and the family. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for our presenters, and they can kindly go back to their various seats. And as we make a transition to the third talk, I kindly invite Mary to come forward to take over. We can stand up, just try to grab the sky somehow. Just stand up. Stretch your leg a little bit. Yes. Say hi to your neighbor. Yes. Very good. So Mary can take over. Lydia, yes. Okay, kindly take your seats.
Bona Premidi. Good afternoon. Habari zenu? Muriega. Ungima. Those are the many people Lavigerie brought together. Good afternoon, everybody. Pilgrims of Hope. Together in prayer. You didn't stretch enough. Kindly get up again. This is the teacher in me. We are going to spell coconut with our bodies. So the first C, go to your left. You don't know your left. Okay, O. The next C to your right. That's an O to the right. Then O again. Then N. Touch your toes. Then U and T. Are we good choir members? Yes. C O C O N U T. C O C O N U T. Now let me hear the full choir. C O C O N U.
Naomba Sylvester aje tuimbie vile aliambiwa tuimbie. Sylvester from Formation House. Yuko. Sylvester, you can have a seat. We're just having an interlude before we have the last session.
I'm going to call upon the students of Balozi. We just want to sing a song in different languages. You all know, "Oh Lord my God." Oh Lord my God. Go ahead. Oh Lord my God, when I awesome wonder consider all the world. Very good. Go on. I see the sun, the rise of the universe. In French. Dieu tout-puissant, quand mon cœur considère tout l'univers créé par ton pouvoir. Le ciel d'azur, le tonnerre, le clair matin et les ombres du soir. De tout alors célèbre chant, Dieu tout-puissant, et tu es grand. De tout mon être, alors le chant, Dieu tout-puissant, que tu es grand. Kiswahili now. Bwana Mungu, nashangaa kabisa, nikitegemea jinsi ulivyo. Nyota, ngurumo, vitu vyote pia viumbavyo kwa uwezo wako. Roho yangu na ikuimbie jinsi wewe ulivyo mkuu. Roho yangu na ikuimbie jinsi wewe ulivyo mkuu. In Portuguese, Senhor meu Deus, quando eu maravilhado fico a pensar nas mãos de tuas mãos, o céu azul das estrelas pontilhado, o teu poder mostrando a criação. Então minha alma canta-te, Senhor, quão grande és tu, quão grande és tu. Então minha alma canta-te, Senhor, quão grande és
I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy path throughout the universe display. Then sing my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sing my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Well, a round of applause for them. And you. Thank you.
We are on to our last session this afternoon. We've had a lot of what the women in the ministry are doing. Now we're going to hear the perspective from the men in the ministry, what the founder envisioned for the men and the ministry. And three speakers this afternoon. I wish to call Father Mohammed Nari, who will speak about the South Sudan mission of the Missionaries of Africa. Father Mohammadi is a member of the Society of the Missionaries of Africa. He is currently a missionary in South Sudan. Father Mohammadi? Oh, that's him. Okay. The next speaker will be Father Felix Firi, who will give us the vision of Cardinal Lavigerie on the men. Father Felix Firi is a member of the Society of the Missionaries of Africa. He is from Zambia. He is currently a lecturer at Tangaza University. He is the director of the Institute of Interreligious Dialogue and Islamic Studies at Tangaza University. There he comes. And the third speaker will be Father Vara Prasad. He will talk about the Tarasa, Malindi, Kenya, mission of the Missionary of Africa. Father Vara Prasad is a member of the Society of the Missionaries of Africa. He is currently a missionary in Malindi. Let's put our hands together for the three of them as Father Mohammadi Nare takes the podium. Karibu sana.
Close to people, the reality of Catholic mission in rural, war-torn town South Sudan. Close to people, the reality of Catholic mission in rural, war-torn South Sudan, and our presence as missionaries of Africa. Brothers and sisters, friends in the mission announced by Cardinal Charles Lavigerie, whose Bicentenary is celebrated this year. We thank you for inviting us to talk about the mission in South Sudan. Being a Lavigerie disciple in South Sudan demands the courage to carry into places where roads wash away. News arrives late. The fear sometimes arrives earlier. Today, we want to speak plainly about the reality of Catholic mission in rural South Sudan, a land both wounded and wondrous, where cattle camp songs share the night with the drumbeat of anxiety, and where the church, often the only enduring institution, stand as a sign of hope. We will name the hard truth we face, celebrate the quiet miracles already among us, and propose practical ways we can serve better as missionaries of Africa especially. The reality on the ground, fragility and distance. In rural parishes, people walk distances and hours for mass. In Bo, confreres have to book for plane tickets to reach outstation due to lack of roads and insecurity. Seasonal floods cut off villages. Security is uneven. Market can be safe at noon and tense by dusk. And this volatility, the church is asked to be both altar and ambulance, celebrating sacrament while holding communities together in harmony. Wounded church. South Sudan is a wounded church. Conflict leaves layers of trauma, abduction, displacement, revenge cycle, and a deep fatigue of the soul. Children know the alphabet of fear and hunger before the one of school. Their first toy that they fabricate and they are proud of is a fire gun. Many adults carry unspoken grief of the grief that surfaces as silence, anger, and resignation. Unfortunately, the chain of violence seems to be unbreakable. Poverty insisted. It is not just that families are lacking cash. Entire system is fragile. Health posts without medicines, and well-trained nurses, school without trained teachers and proper structures, borehole without spare parts and maintenance, youth without pathways to dignified life. The church is pressed to fill gap well beyond typical parish life. Faith as a social safety net. In many rural places, the parish is counselor, classroom, clinic corridor, and town hall. People expect from the priests and sisters what they would expect from a mayor or a minister. That is a privilege and a pressure on us. Fruit of grace we already see. People are really resilient in South Sudan. It is amazing seeing elders teaching catechism classes under 3. Youth able once to hold together peaceful meeting. Choirs that practice in poor conditions. Women group who pray the rosary and then strive to provide food for their families. Children who hunger but keep smiling and playing football. These are not side stories. They are the backbone of our society. The importance and power of presence. In places where leaders come and go, the church, being there week after week, season after season, preaches before a word is spoken. A missionary consistent presence says, God has not forgotten you. This makes of our presence, with the effort we put to learn the local language, a tangible sign of hope and love. Consequently, our presence defines what we celebrate, the drama of love that triumphs over darkness. We meant the Eucharist. Reconciliation in small acts. Shared wealth managed by mixed communities. Youth and children's sport competitions where rival clans become teammates. Funeral liturgies that allow collective lament instead of rage, of retaliation. These are quite peace process. Parishes in Ayo, personally, as soon as I have arrived, I have initiated children football team, and it is a joy to see them running behind the ball together. Reality that calls on the church. This reality requires pastoral, practical, and possible moves. The necessity of listening, not programs. Before launching projects, people desire to be listened. Elders, women, youth, returnees regarding what is happening in Sudan, persons with disabilities. The most important is not what the pastoral agent will do for them or for him, but the attention and respect shown to them. In such environment, the missionary is called to be a shepherd through his attention, active presence, and respect to people. Trauma-informed mission. Training catechists, youth leaders, and health volunteers is basic psychosocial support. How to recognize trauma, how to refer, how to pray with people without reopening wounds, how to create safe spaces for children, make mental health and hope as normal in parishes, as choirs, and small Christian community. And this is something very important in South Sudan. People are traumatized, even including us urgent prayers. How do you say it? Yeah, pastoral agents. We are all traumatized in South Sudan. A sacramental life that travels, where people can't reach the church must find a way to reach them. Many are longing to be nourished by the word of the Lord. Eucharist, anointing, these are celebrated under trees, in tukus, or school verandas, or open places. And I remember that old man, almost of 80 years, who were waiting to be baptized. So the baptism has been a celebration, and I was wondering if after my departure he was not going to die. These are reality we are seeing there. Let me jump to go, because I am warned that my time is almost there. Yeah? Our presence in South Sudan, blessing, it is a blessing and a challenge. We, missionaries of Africa, our presence in South Sudan is both a profound blessing and a great challenge. It is a blessing because in a land scarred by war and hardships of all kinds, the missionary is often the visible sign of God's presence and a source of hope for people who long for peace, healing, and dignity. To baptize children, to unite families in marriages, to celebrate the Eucharist under a tree or in a simple chapel or open place, or in a family, and to work with communities through their struggles is a grace that few vocations can offer so directly. Moreover, the ongoing construction of the school in Bo by the Society of Missionaries of Africa is already giving hope to both Catholics and non-Catholics. And every day, they are longing to see when are we opening the school. All these are indeed a blessing. However, it is also a challenge because the priests minister in context of poverty, insecurity, misunderstanding, and trauma. An environment where expectations go beyond the spiritual and extend to education, healthcare, reconciliation, and even survival. Revenge killing is very common in our pastoral context. In fact, it is a challenge to see in Ayotte, for instance, many children who after their primary school have no possibility for secondary school. And our fear, they may end up in the hands of armed groups. The immediate solution we are trying to find there, it is to start the secondary school under the trees. But beside that, we don't have qualified teachers. We say in French, à défaut de la maman, on tête la grand-mère. Those who are able to offer a little bit of knowledge, we cannot wait to get, we can't wait to get all the conditions gathered to start what we think that we are able to start now. And I would like to conclude. My beloved brothers and sisters, let us go where the road ends and the church begins, under the trees, by the boreholes, the cattle camps and markets, and preach the gospel with our presence, our prudence, and our perseverance. Let us not be afraid. In South Sudan, when we leave our communities to go to the outstation, we are sure of two things. We are able to come back alive, or our dead body can come back in our community. But let us dare to do it. It is a worthy mission, and let us stand for that. They are in need of us. Themselves, they are facing the danger. We, as sons and daughters of Cardinal Lavigerie, we must join them to fight the battle, and one day we will sing together in harmony the hymn of peace. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for Father Mahamadou Naro.
That's just the audacity of hope he has been talking about there. And next speaker is Father Felix Firi, who will give us the vision of Cardinal Lavigerie on the male ministry. Put your hands together for him.
It's that time of the afternoon where we tend to say yes, even to things we are not hearing. But don't worry, we are almost at the end. After me, there will be the last speaker and we'll be ready to go back home. So I'm going to talk about Lavigerie and his legacy for interreligious dialogue. We, the Society of the Missionaries of Africa, has gained for itself the reputation of being specially concerned with interreligious dialogue and encounter with the Muslims. This attribute can be explained by 4 factors. The first one, it is about the personal experience of our founder Lavigerie in the encounter with the Muslims. Charles Cardinal Lavigerie, the founder of the Society of the Missions of Africa, had two important area encounters with the Muslims. The first one took place during his visit to the Middle East. We heard about this, Sister talked about this, while he was director of the Christian churches of the East. After completing his seminary formation at Saint-Sulpice in Paris, he was ordained priest in 1849, and then he taught church history at the Sorbonne from 1854 to 1859. In 1856, he was appointed the first director of the Œuvre des Écoles d'Orient, a French organization that supported Catholic schools in the Levant. And in this capacity, he visited Lebanon and Syria in late 1860 to bring relief to the Maronites, who had a clash with the Druze, a Muslim sect of the Shia Islam, which turned into a massacre in the May of that year. So Sister mentioned particularly how Lavigerie was struck by the women who were helping the people who were affected by this event. But there was another event on the sideline where Lavigerie met with a certain Emir Abdelkader, a Muslim from Algeria, who happened to be there also, who had taken refuge in the area. And this Muslim emigrant had given help and support to the Christians who were affected by that event. So in Damascus, Lavigerie was deeply impressed by this exiled Algerian Emir Abdelkader, who had protected the Christians in the city, in whom Lavigerie saw an admirable expression of the natural virtue of justice. He would say, "I listened with admiration and joy to this sincere Muslim, whose words a Christian might have been proud of." Emir Abdelkader was an Algerian religious and military leader who had led a struggle against the French colonial invasion of Algeria in the early 19th century, who was later forced to exile. Lavigerie would say years later that it was there that I found my true vocation. So what would this mean, this expression by Lavigerie, that it is in the Middle East that he found his true vocation? On one hand, we could say that Lavigerie might have been so impressed by the natural virtue of justice exhibited by Emir Abdelkader towards non-Muslims, the Maronites who were persecuted. So this is one lesson what we might learn from the attitude of Lavigerie. On the other hand, we could also see that this might have been an eye-opener to Lavigerie, that charity knows no boundaries. And we will see him apply this principle once he arrives in Algiers. So as we heard, Lavigerie was first bishop in France and then later appointed Bishop of Algiers. So when he arrived in Algiers, he will have the second encounter with the Muslims. So his arrival in Algiers did not immediately translate into an apostolate stimulated by the desire to encounter the Muslims. Rather, inspired by the 4th century evangelizer of the Gaul, Saint Martin of the Tours, and by a dream in which dark-skinned people lived in a strange country and speaking in an unknown language, the young Bishop of Nancy gave up a promising ecclesiastical career in metropolitan France to take charge of the smaller See of Algiers. To those surprised by his choice, he explained that there was Christian work to be done among Muslims. He considered Algiers a door opened by providence onto a continent of 200 million souls, the dark continent of Africa. In his writing, Lavigerie reproduced traditional anti-Islamic prejudices of his contemporaries. However, soon after his arrival in Algiers, his activities in favor of Muslim orphans, victims of the famine caused by 2 consecutive years of a drought, a plague of locusts, and cholera epidemic, drew him to take action in favor of the local population and brought him into an open conflict with the French military administration, which feared that the Muslim population would perceive such charitable activities as an attempt to convert the Muslims. Lavigerie, however, made it clear that he had come to save the whole population of Algeria, not just the Europeans, echoing St. Paul's formula of becoming all things to all people, and forcefully demanded the church's freedom to practice charity. The second factor in Lavigerie's legacy for interreligious dialogue, it is the religious context in which the Congregation of the Missions of Africa was founded. So the geographical and the religious context of the birth of the congregation rendered it inevitable that we took a particular interest in the encounter with the Muslims. I often joke about this, that if our congregations were to be found in Iceland, we might be specialists of the Eskimos. The fact that the congregation was started in the Muslim area may not be enough to explain Lavigerie's legacy for interreligious dialogue. He personally helped shape the style of the missionary work among the Muslims. This leads me to the third factor, which is the teachings of Lavigerie. So Lavigerie used to encourage his early missionaries to adapt to the context of their environment, the environment of their apostolate, in their outward way of life, their clothing, their food, and their nomadic life, their language, by making themselves, in a word, all things to all, in order to win the Muslim to Jesus. This, in a sense, gave rise to the kind of uniform that we wear, the gandula, which was an imitation of the local clothing of the people that surrounded us. Lavigerie's instructions to his missionaries can be summarized into 4 pastoral recommendations. 1, to refrain from proselytizing. 2, to win over the Muslim hearts. 3, to reconnect with Christian past of the region. And 4, being all things to all. So these teachings will have an impact on the first missionaries. But it was not only the teachings of Islam, of Lavigerie, that will bring about this commitment to interreligious dialogue, but also the commitment of the first missionaries. So whereas the main objective of Lavigerie's first missionaries was to quickly reach out to Africa south of the Sahara, some started seeing North Africa as their permanent destination of mission. Following the directive of the founder, they started investing their energy in the study of Arabic and Islam. This effort will lead to the founding of PISAI in 1926, which will be celebrating its first centenary next year. In 1931, the foundation took the name Institute of Arabic Literature in French Institut de Belles Lettres Arabes, IBLA, to which Father Henri Marchal and André de Mesman made a singular contribution. In 1949, it was decided to separate the teaching section from the other activities undertaken by IBLA, which were more linked to specifically to Tunisian cultural scene. So a study center was opened at Manouba, near Tunis, which welcomed students of Arabic language and Islamic studies. Later, in accordance with the decree of the Sacred Congregation for Seminaries and Universities, dated 1960, this training institute was raised to the Pontifical Institute for Oriental Studies, EPEO, distinct from the already existing Pontifical Oriental Institute, PIO. In 1964, the institute was transferred to Rome, and its name changed to the Pontifical Institute for Arabic and Islamic Studies, PISAI. In the 1990s, when Cardinal Fitzgerald was secretary at the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue, the now Dicastery for Interreligious Dialogue, they elaborated a guide for teaching interreligious dialogue and Islam. Because then he was residing in PISAI, he proposed the guide to be implemented in PISAI, and it became the pastoral year of interreligious dialogue in PISAI. In 2003, it was decided that this program would be better implemented here in Africa, and it came to Africa, and it is split into two sections. The French-speaking section, which went to Bamako and became IFIC, and the English-speaking branch, which came to Tangaza here in Nairobi, and which eventually evolved into what has become IRIDIS. That was the beginning of the Institute for Interreligious Dialogue here in Tangaza. And so over the years, this institute has trained a number of pastoral agents in interreligious dialogue. And in 2019, it became a full-fledged institute here in Tangaza with its own program, and it has continued offering a certificate program for a full year, whereby a number of pastoral agents, they come and they are trained in interreligious dialogue. So in this institute, we have had different projects. At the moment, we have a project called Dealing with the Past. And I have accompanying me here Mr. Nicholas Dollar, who is representing the team from Dealing with the Past, with Madame Wibke, who is from Germany, who is also working on the team. So I leave a bit of time for Mr. Dollar to talk to us about Dealing with the Past.
Thank you very much, Father Felix. When I came in, I used to call him Father Felix Firi. The last time I went to Zambia, they told me there's nothing like Firi, it's Piri. So thank you very much. Very, very quickly, because of time, if I refer to the founder of Missionaries of Africa as the good Cardinal, you'll forgive me, because the first name, if you try to pronounce it in my language, it comes out as something else in the Catholic Church. In where I come from, Charles is pronounced as Charles. And the second name is a tongue twister, so I'm not going there. So allow me to call him the good Cardinal and acknowledge the framework that he laid many years ago that some of us are benefiting from as at now. Dealing with the past through interreligious dialogue. And the big question then will be, why dealing with the past? And I'll quickly just pick two key statements. That years of violent conflict affect people, given, and communities and states. And two, that legacies of violence do not simply disappear by default. Those are the two fundamental statements that drives dealing with the past as a project for us. When we had the post-election violence in Kenya, which is now 18 years ago, each and every individual who came to intervene, the peace builders and all the experts, reminded us that every or any country that experiences violent conflict are more likely to go back to that. So you are lucky if you've not experienced violent conflict, but if you do for the first time, then chances are that you're likely to go back there. And for us, it has been a cycle. Dealing with the past, therefore, refers to a set of numerous measures carried out for individuals and societies to come to terms with the legacies of past abuses, injustices, and violence. What are we talking about, therefore, when we talk about dealing with the past? And the big question that comes around many times has always been, what past are we talking about? And for us, we are looking at the impact of violence and the aftermath of violence. Say it's man-made wounds of people and societies, that is, in short, the disturbing presence of our past. And we learn from it and we work towards prevention. Lived experiences, not just abstract stories. How does it then connect to the story of inter-religious dialogue? In a nutshell, you cannot talk about inter-religious dialogue without making reference to religion and religious institutions. But then, when you talk about religious institutions, we are far aware of the values that religion brings along. And for us, that is the foundation of this. And we talk about every religion. And two, communities that experience violence are also spiritual communities. And therefore, when there is violence, these needs are affected. Religion, I've mentioned, is a resource full of values. We can talk about unity, we can talk about peace, we can talk about unconditional love, we can talk about reconciliation. All these are key values and resources within all our religions. It is an identity, very important, and most importantly, it is said that spaces of encounter and exchange, but I look at this as spaces that, if used well, these religious institutions that give these spaces provide us with safe spaces, not just for encounter, but spaces where meaningful dialogue and conversation can happen. Of course, religious institutions demonstrate continuity, and I think that has been spoken about over and over again by the previous speakers. And I liked the presentation from Father from South Sudan, that leaders will come and go, but religious institutions will always be there. That is the continuity and sustainability that we are talking about. This we see as two ways that interreligious dialogue, we can do this as a tool for dealing with the past, and also the other way that dealing with the past can be a space and create a framework where meaningful interreligious dialogue can happen. Just a few questions that, and statements that we've encountered in the last year or so when we've engaged in this, that looking back will only reopen old wounds. It is better to move on and forget. we should stop digging into the painful past. And the most interesting that I've seen is when we talked about, do we need to forgive? And even when we talk about this with religious leaders, there's always heated debate. And I thought forgiveness is at the heart of the church. But very difficult questions when we get into the heart of the matter. There are those who believe that violence is the only way to restore peace, justice, and harmony. It's quite interesting that there's a justification in our Swahili language that talks about amani haiji ila kwa ncha ya upanga. That's a justification from our Swahili language, that peace will not just come unless there's the use of the machete. I don't know what those who came up with that statement meant, but it is one that has been used as a justification to justify this statement that violence is the only way to restore peace and harmony. Our entry point has been around sensitization, one of religious leaders, and that points towards the beneficiaries of this project, that we work closely with religious leaders, civil society organization partners, to acknowledge legacies of Kenya's violent past. We strengthen partners' capacities to de-escalate, transform, and prevent violent conflict. Strengthen partners' capacities to provide measures for healing, support for victims, create protected spaces for exchange, integrate different narratives around past violence, and avoid them feeding into future conflicts. We support youth, and that is very, very key for us, that they are able to build resilience, encourage practice-oriented research that puts our other foot into Tangaza as a university, even as we engage outside the university through outreach, and provide process support in the planning implementation of dealing with the past. Basically, that is what we see at the end of it, that communities in Kenya engage in dialogue to address conflict and foster positive attitudes towards different cultures, ethnic groups, tribes, and religions. Different memories, narratives, and experiences of violence are integrated and do not feed into future conflicts. And lastly, RD is part of a dealing with the past process that is conflict sensitive, inclusive, legitimate, and meaningful for and owned by those who have been affected by violence. And a quick look at some of the pictures in the work that we've been able to do. That is with the students when they had their field trip. The students that Father mentioned that are taking the one-year executive certificate course in interreligious dialogue and Islamic studies. Engaging with them through our project of dealing with the past, the same students. But we also worked with partners to build our capacities around key areas, for example, psychological first aid and others. Of course, series of sensitization with the young people. And if you look at that, you'll see some of the areas that they really want their capacities to be built on, areas of reconciliation, areas of interreligious dialogue to be strengthened, nonviolence. We've done work with them around nonviolent communication. But moving forward, we look at a future where we will hand over this to them so that they begin to engage with their communities. So we'll see the first phase where we build their capacities, and the second phase where they use the knowledge, skills to also engage within their communities. Interestingly, we have 3 representatives from the young people that we work with who are represented here at the back. So the team from Kibra, maybe you just stand and wave so that we are able to see you. Oh, the team from, the representative from Huruma, which is in Mathare. and Mbulbul, which is partly Nairobi, but also in Ngong Diocese. And this, if you look keenly at those pictures, you'll see some resemblance with someone that you've seen in the room. Yes, so those are some of the young people that we work with. Ahmed, we have Abdul Rahman and Beverly, and we wish to continue to journey with them. Just some of the pictures from our engagements with them. The last event that we had was here at the university, where we did what we call intergenerational dialogue, bringing people who have gone through violence in the past just to share their experiences and how they've journeyed through that. And if you look at, for those who are Kenyans and are very keen on the Kenyan politics, some of those old faces are familiar. During the Moi era, and when you talked about the torture chambers, which was very real to them, when they were sharing their stories, what it means in dealing with the past is also what you see, that some of them, even after many years, they still break down. And of course, our encounter with the religious leaders, we work with in 3 different areas, in Nairobi, Kibra. The pictures that you see are from Sotik, where we held the training with the religious leaders on dealing with the past, but under the big banner of Kericho Diocese, and of course in Malindi as well. I want to end this by acknowledging the support that and the collaboration that we've had from the missionaries of Africa who are housing this project. Father Felix Piri, who is a white father. Father Musa Saj, I'm not sure if he's an Algerian looking at the dressing, but Father Musa, who is also a white father, and my very own colleague, Wibke Angelica, maybe you can wave to the crowd. The only qualified person in this room to become a white sister, but she's not, maybe in the future. And therefore, allow me to end this by saying that what grounds us in this project of dealing with the past is a very interesting quote, that our past is a point of reference and learning and not a place of residence. In Swahili, they say, ya kale ni mafunzo, sio makao. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for that elaborate presentation. Please bear with us. We are on to the very last 15 minutes presentation, and that's by none other than Father Vera Prasad, and he's going to tell us about the
Tangaza mission of the Missionaries of Africa. A round of applause for him as he takes the podium.
God is good, and all the time. Good evening once again, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to the presentation of our parish, St. Catherine of Alexandria, Catholic Parish, Tangaza, Diocese of Malindi, Kenya. So I would like to start with a small background, how it started.
Sorry, it's not working. Is it right? You can't try.
I can tell this one because I have photos later, so you can see them. It's not a problem now. So St. Catherine of Alexandria Parish is a small Catholic parish located in Tangaza, Tana River County in coastal region of Kenya. Spanning an area of approximately 40 square kilometers, this parish was established in 1992 under the care of Mill Hill missionaries. Over the years, it has been taken care by the Diocese of Malindi, Fidei Donum priests from Meru, and most recently, since December 2023, by the Missionaries of Africa, White Fathers, with the effort of Father Aloysius Shikamate, who is a present member in the council, the General Council. He worked hard, and he is the one who started to negotiate with them, and it is the fruit of today. Thank you, Father Aloysius. The present Missionaries of Africa community is composed 3 members. Three members from Congo, India, and from Burkina Faso. The parish also hosts 2 congregations of sisters, the Franciscan Missionaries of St. Francis of Assisi, the Sisters of the Blessed Virgin, who contribute to the parish, dispensary, and schools. St. Michael and St. Clair, the parish has 5 outstations. Community and environment. Tarasa is about 85 kilometers from Malindi town and 7 kilometers from the Garissa-Lamu road, with a population around 4,500 people. Approximately 80% are our Muslim brothers and 20% are Christians, Catholics, Protestants, Adventists, all other together. The main communities are Pokomo, farmers, and Orma and Vadai, pastoralists. While most pastoralists are Muslims, most farmers are Christians. The region is experiencing hot, dry conditions with temperature ranging from 20 to 41 Celsius. Erratic rainfall and frequent droughts. Water scarcity is a major challenge. Underground water is salty. The river Tana is distant and unreliable. And the community often depends on rainwater harvesting system. Missionary presence and interfaith engagement. Tarasa is an area marked by past intercommunal conflicts in 2001 and 2012, but also notable interreligious coexistence. Christians are minority, but relations with the Muslims are generally positive, supported by family and tribal bonds. The Missionaries of Africa prioritize peace building, justice, and dialogue, working to promote reconciliation and prevent future violence. Activities include interfaith dialogue, ecumenical collaboration, attending social events such as Muslim weddings, in which I liked the most the pilau, what they cooked, because I liked it. Thank you, brother, you are cooking very well. Huh? That was excellent, because I enjoyed it. Still, I can smell that. And engaging in cultural youth and community initiative that strengthen the mutual trust. Pastoral vision and activities. The parish's vision is to be an exemplary parish, providing a home for everybody and where Christians witness gospel values. Its mission emphasizes human dignity, education, faith formation, and equality. Evangelization is challenged due to the parish Islamic majority environment, but efforts focus on catechists at the parish and school levels, strengthening the Christians to resist the pull of other religions, youth programs as sports, Lavigerie football team, the foster unity across tribal and denominational lines, and reduce the risk of violence, substance abuse, and child neglect, and education through St. Michael's School, which is open to all, and social outreach, Christmas celebrations with children, events with persons with disabilities, and community gatherings. Here you can see the pictures how the sister from Blessed Virgin is teaching the children somehow for the catechism and some for the how to peace building. And these are our children from the school. And these are the challenged and disabled people where we celebrated our Night to Shine program. And justice, peace, and dialogue. This is one of the main interests for Missionaries of Africa, wherever we are, and we follow it. In his speech on the day of his installation as Bishop of Algiers, Monsignor Lavigerie addressed these words to the Algerian Muslims. I claim to be entitled to the privilege of loving you as my children, even if you do not recognize me as your father. There are two things we never get tired of doing, things that would not worry you and would not take you away from us. The first is to love you and, if possible, to prove it to you by doing you good. The second is to pray for you, God, Father and Master of creation, to give us abundantly light, forgiveness, and peace. And peace. The parish is deeply engaged in justice and peace in activities. Together with the Commission of Interreligious Dialogue and Ecumenism, it's called CIRD, Malindi, and the Coast Interfaith Council of Clerics, and the parish participates in the joint Muslim, Christian, Protestant meetings addressing local issues and promoting peaceful coexistence. Programs included land conflict resolution and community peace-building workshops, sports and cultural activities for youth, awareness campaigns on non-violence and human values. And these are some of the pictures that what we did and how we had the meeting with the Muslim brothers and other Christian denominations. And meeting with all the religious leaders in Tangaza. And Father Fidel is talking with the villagers near Tangaza regarding the land issue. The land issue is about between the pastoralists and the farmers, and it's existing. Pastoralists want to graze their cows, and the farmers want to do the agriculture. So that the fight between them. And this is Father Robert Ubemu, his visit. And he visited near the place, and he was talking with those people. And this is Father Fidel, who received an award from the leaders of the Muslims, and discussing about the land issues with the authorities. And this is where they got the peace building, because they were talking with each other, and now there is a peace. But still, we cannot say that it is frozen. I can say it is a frozen one. We do not know when it can erupt. So this is our St. Lavigerie football team, but don't, I wish you see in this God, you see, sometimes we speak what God wants. Maybe he can be a saint. So that's why I said. But don't feel bad. You are seeing the photo of Pope Francis, but it is our Lavigerie team. So this is just a contract. So these are the sisters who are working in the dispensary, and mainly most of our patients are our Muslim brothers and sisters, because since it is an interior village, so they are the ones who come to get the treatment. And visit of Father Oswald, East African Provincial, from promoting justice and peace, along with Bishop of Malindi, Right Reverend Wilbert Lago. So this is the one where he visited us in November last year, and he was talking with those people, and this is how Father Oswald is doing his job and promoting peace and justice in our East African province. And here we can see with the leader. He is the leader of the Muslim brothers there, and the others are Christians. And the training to the teachers of St. Michael's School by CIRD, Commission for Interreligious Dialogue and Ecumenism. And these are some of the pictures, because we believed that when they are teaching in the school, it is better they should know how to promote the peace and the dialogue. That is why CIRD has come to offer an education course for our school teachers. And these are the teachers who are working in our school. And this is one of our sisters who is explaining about their 5 pillars of Islam. Peace building by CIRD, St. Michael's School, and we believed that children should be nourished from when they are young. That is how you teach them, especially in those areas, to live peacefully with the Muslim brothers and other religions. And this is one of the pictures, and this is in a video, but
on the 23rd of June,
how they started.
a new chapter began at St. Michael Catholic Primary School in Tangaza. More than 80 pupils gathered with one goal: to launch the Peace Club, a space for building understanding, dialogue, and harmony.
We have come to launch, and we thank all that who have trained the teachers and the learners, the group of Kiara and Sarita. Thank you for the training. I also thank the parents who have come, at least the class representatives, to see the work we are doing. It's not that they were idle, but at least because they love our children and they love our schools.
Next one is also a program, but that was in the school, but this is in the grounds of our school, Tangaza.
From St. Michael Catholic School Peace Club. In front of you, this is a mural of a Mali village. And in a Mali village, people live in peace, despite having different tribes, different religions. And in a Mali village, we have three religions. That is, the Christians, the traditionalists, and the Muslims.
Continued that video, but now I have got a letter from Father Kentaga that I should finish soon, so I'm sorry. It's like a letter from the Pope, so I have to maintain it. So this is the one. So the next one, visit of Monsignor Indunil and the Secretary, the Dicastery for the Interreligious Dialogue, Rome, to promote justice and peace in St. Catherine of Alexandria Catholic Parish, Tangaza. And this is also video because people may say that's the AI generated, but this is the original video that he's walking. It's not an AI generated, please. So he's coming to our Tangaza, and you can see Father Fidel also here. So thus he met our Muslim brothers and other religions, because in Malindi, our bishop gives more importance to the interreligious, since he is the head in Kenya for the interreligious dialogue. And as well as Father Fidel is in charge in Malindi Diocese for the CIRD. That he is the president, no, he is the in charge of CIRD in Malindi Diocese. So that is how he got the connections, and every time bishop sends those, if the person is for interreligious dialogue, to Tangaza. So that is what the great work is doing by our missionaries of Africa. And these are the ones. And it is me, so it is not a generated picture, so I am standing here and I am here. See, I hope I am resembling. So life of faith and challenges of Christian in Tangaza. This now I am going to talk a little about how the faith is challenging in our Tangaza. 33 years of parish existence, the faith is local Christians remain fragile. Challenges include weak participation in daily Eucharist and parish life with attendance mainly by religious sisters and few faithful. Interfaith marriages, particularly among Christian girls marrying into Muslim families, often leading to the loss of Christian identity. A lack of deep faith formation, consistency, and self-engagement among parishioners. The need for stronger catechism programs, renewed evangelization strategies, and consistent pastoral support. And what we are doing, and what is our future plan. The parish community recognizes the need for a new step in evangelization to strengthen the Christian identity and faith commitment. Priorities moving forward include expanding the catechism at parish and school levels, increasing youth formation and engagement beyond school holidays, building resilience against faith loss through stronger Christian identity formation, continuing interfaith dialogue as a means of peace building and community integration. So as a conclusion, St. Catherine of Alexandria Parish, Tangaza, is a vibrant missionary outpost in the Diocese of Malindi, working at the crossroads of faith, culture, and interreligious coexistence. While facing significant challenges such as water scarcity, fragile Christian faith, and intercommunal tensions, the parish has become a center for peace building, dialogue, and education. Its missionary activities highlights the Catholic Church's and missionaries of Africa's commitment to justice, reconciliation, and the holistic development of all people in a multi-religious and culturally diverse environment. Thank you and welcome to Tangaza. I forgot to add nota bene. Please, when you come to Tangaza, please come with your identity cards. Otherwise, you will not enter into the premises of Tangaza since there are KDF around us. So when they come, they will ask you to show your card. So welcome to Tangaza, but carry your card. So thank you, sir.
Another round of applause for him. And that marks the end of the afternoon presentations. Having heard from Father Mahamadi Naro on the South Sudan mission of the Missionaries of Africa, from Father Felix Piri on the Interreligious Dialogue Ministry, and lastly from Father Vara Prasad on the Tangaza mission. 3 questions from the floor. Keep it short and sweet. There's 1, 2, 3. The gentleman there.
Thanks for the presentations. Celebrating the legacy of the founder, just a question of curiosity to Father Felix. I would like to know, how is Charles Lavigerie remembered in the memory of the Algerian people? Because he worked there, so how is he remembered? Another thing, I'm a bit disappointed on the side of IRDIS. As I listened to the presentation of Father Vara, I was expecting to hear an action of IRDIS in the context of Malindi and the conflict between the pastors and the farmers, but I didn't hear anything. Is it any prospect in that sense? Thank you.
The corner over there.
Good afternoon. I just have a concern. When the introduction of this session was being introduced, it was about the boy child, kinda, in a relationship with a boy child. Now, we can all witness how the girl child is being supported by the communities, different communities, and the country at large. So what are you doing for the girl child, for the boy child, to ensure that they are also visible?
Thank you, presenters, for this afternoon. My question is on the interreligious dialogue. What I have got is that you've been able to meet the youth and listen to them. But I want to know, is there some sustainable reconciliation among the people that you are meeting? Because you didn't mention, like, we've been able to come to this reconciliation in these kind of groups. Some sustainable reconciliation. She was among the first 3, so I'll not lock her out. The lady, that's the final one.
Thank you. Thank you very much, presenters. I actually feel like I have been to Sudan from that presentation. You have given us really insightful presentations. Thank you very much. Mine is on the interreligious dialogue. 1, do we really have interreligious conflict in Kenya? That's 1. And then secondly,
is there any government involvement between the church and the dialogue that you do? Because we know the government has a way of coming back to the religious groups when there is conflict, which is political. So my issue with Kenya is it really political issues or interreligious, and whether there is government involvement with the interreligious council? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. I don't know who's taking that from the very last one.
So about the interreligious dialogue, if there is interreligious conflict in Kenya, I think it depends on the regions and the periods. There have been times when there have been these violences, some of them which have been characterized as interreligious. So I would doubt if anyone would kind of say there is no interreligious conflict in Kenya, because there are so many levels of violence involved. Now, how is the government involved? The government is not directly involved, but there are some organizations where even government officials are also involved. And in times of crisis, they usually fall back on the religious leaders to try to bring about reconciliation. So at that level, the religions become relevant as particular actors in the way of trying to solve the problem.
Thank you. I'll take the question on reconciliation and quickly say that we engage at 3 different levels. One, in terms of target groups, is one, we look at our like-minded organizations, the partners, and we engage in building capacities around the gaps that they identify themselves. Secondly, we engage with the religious leaders, the same capacity building, but we allow them to identify which areas that they feel they have gaps to be able to engage at their level. And thirdly, the young people that I talked about. And if you remember, I said there are 2 phases. The first phase is capacity building, but the second phase is to hand over this to them, of course, with our accompaniment, so that they can begin to engage. So it's too early to say if reconciliation has happened, because we are still at the first stage where we are still building capacity. Most likely, as we start, we turn the year, we are going to slowly begin to hand over to them, and we accompany them to help them begin to engage. So that's where we are. Maybe in a few years' time, we'll begin to talk about what becomes of the processes that we'll have with them. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for the question. Fabrice, I would like to talk about 30 minutes, but Father Kentaga and Father Serge told me to talk only for 15 minutes, so I could not add all those things. But yes, in the sense, Iridis, Father Philly, is in Malindi. In the sense, recently he was there, but mostly it was taken care by the CIRD. But those two are, I think, they have connection so much. Because Father Philly, he told us that he may visit us soon. So I hope then Iridis also will enter into Tharasa. But regarding the fights and the farmers and the pastoralists, yes, it was there 2001 and 2012, but the trauma is still continuing, because by 6 o'clock or 6:30, all the shops are closed in Tharasa, because the people are carrying still the trauma. So it happened. But now recently there was small row about the land issues, but now the management of Iridis, CIRD, and so on, now they are coming to a reconciliation. So that is how it is. So thank you.
How is Lavigerie remembered in Algeria? Lavigerie is a whole program when it comes to Algeria. So there are some positive and some negative things. So it depends on what we want to see in his life in Nigeria. So for example, when I talked about his defense for the orphans, in a sense, some Nigerians might see that as someone who was siding with them, but he was also a product of the political season of his time. He could not totally dissociate himself to what was happening in the political arena. So there are some aspects in which he proved himself not to distance himself so much from the political atmosphere of the time. So in a sense, it is all about interpretation and what we want to see in his life, what we would like him to represent for us.
So I am happy that I was not having a question. And I am just turning my eyes to my young brothers, the theologians. I want to welcome you in South Sudan. Please, don't run away. Join us. South Sudan is in need of your fresh blood. And with your brain, your experience, we are going from the lowest level of our state to do wonders by the grace of the Lord. And I would also like to thank my seniors here. You allow me to name them. Our Superior General, the former provincial, I have never been able to call his name. I call him Alleluia. So, and John Itaru, who have really supported us a lot. Right now in our parish in Ayot, the parish is flooded. The only habitable area, it is the church premises. It was a worry for us all. People can fall sick because of conditions, property and whatever. But when I called some of them, they answered positively. But now the challenge, even if we have money, there is no way for us to bring items to Ayot right now. We have to wait till November when the roads will be dry to carry them to Ayot, because we don't have the means to hire an helicopter to carry the items to Ayot. And my little experience in July, I bought some food items so that it may take us up to November. Up to now, the food items are still 100 kilometers away from Ayot. It is a sign that you will not reach there till November. Don't be afraid. It is good to know the truth. Yeah, it is good to know the truth. And for sure, the church, South Sudan is the future of the church. This is where I want to end up.
As well as I would like to thank the Generalate and the Provincial from my bottom of heart for supporting Tangaza, because we know that we have faced a lot of problems, but Generalate and the Provincial Oswald, he came and he listened to us and he provided financial support with the help of the Generalate, and thank you so much for this.
Another round of applause for Father Vara Prasad as he leaves the stage. Father Mahamadi Nare as he leaves the stage. And Father Felix Piri as he leaves the stage. And Nicholas Dollar, I didn't mention your name. Thank you very much. Jaluo. Don't blame him. From where he comes from, that happens a lot. It's been a pleasure. My name is Lydia Manyasi. I'm handing over to Father Joseph to conclude the session.
God is good, and all the time. May we stand up again shortly, just to stretch, and so that we continue. The last bit is just a vote of thanks. Just stretch in your own way. So now we kindly invite Father Oswald Malia, the Provincial of Eastern Africa Province, and Sister Matilda, the leader of the Missionary Sisters of Lead for Africa, to come forward. May you take your seat, please. We will start with Sister Matilda to give the vote of thanks, followed by Father Oswald. And then after Father Oswald, we will recite the prayer of the Bicentenary, followed by the Santa Maria, and Father Oswald will give us the final blessing for this day. Thank you. Welcome, Sister.
Thank you. This morning, one of my brothers reminded me of a gospel passage that to the one much is given, please complete. To the one much is given. So I leave that for our reflection because we have received a lot today. And I think we are living here not as we came, isn't it? Thank you. To the Chancellor of Tangaza University, Reverend Edward Itungu, the Vice Chancellor, Father Professor Patrick Wainia, Father Stanley Lubungo, Superior General of the Missionaries of Africa, and his council, Sister Angela Capuchin, Superior General of the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of Africa, and her council, dear Superior Generals of various religious congregations, dear provincials, delegate provincials, members of AOSK, dear clergy, religious men and women, leaders from different faiths and denominations, distinguished guests, panelists, participants, and students, the Lavigerie family and Our Lady of Africa family, dear sisters and brothers in Christ, both present here and joining us online, all protocols observed. Tumsifu Yesu Christu. First and foremost, on behalf of the leadership team of East and Central Entity, I wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to Sister Angela Capuchin and Father Stan Lubungu, together with their respective councils, for initiating this remarkable celebration under the theme, A Year with Cardinal Lavigerie. This initiative invites us, missionaries and members of the wider Lavigerie family, to commemorate the birth and legacy of Cardinal Charles Marshall Lavigerie. Today, we celebrate a great son of humanity, of the church, and of the missionary vocation, Cardinal Lavigerie, whose life and vision continue to inspire generations. As we come to the close of this profound and inspiring symposium on the legacy of Cardinal Charles Lavigerie, I rise with heartfelt gratitude to express our collective thanks. We have gathered together today to celebrate the bicentenary of the birth of Cardinal Lavigerie from 1825 to 2025, a man whose vision and courage gave birth to two great missionary families, the Missionaries of Africa in 1868 and the Missionary Sisters of Our Lady of Africa in 1869. His unwavering commitment
to the dignity of every human person continues to echo throughout our ministries and missions. The attraction of Cardinal Lavigerie's missionary zeal has led to the consolidation of the Lavigerie family across the globe. His dedication to evangelization, justice, and dialogue continues to inspire generations of missionaries and lay collaborators. From his bold stand against slavery to his deep respect for African cultures and his vision of a church rooted in a local reality, Cardinal Lavigerie's legacy lives on in the vibrant communities of the missionaries of Africa and the missionary sisters of Our Lady of Africa, as well as in the Lavigerie family and other partners who share in this mission. We are deeply honored by the presence of our distinguished guest, that was His Excellency Hubertus van Megen, whose presence reminds us of the universal mission of the Church and the Holy Father's closeness to our work. We thank him and the Archdiocese of Nairobi for their presence and their prayers and their words of encouragement. We began this day with the Eucharistic celebration, the source and the summit of our faith, grounding our reflection in the love of Christ. We thank all who prepared and led this sacred liturgy. To our panelists, we extend our deepest appreciation for your thoughtful and enlightening contributions. Through your reflections, we have revisited Cardinal Lavigerie's foundation role in women's congregation, advocacy for the promotion of women in the church and society, vision of Catholic missions as places of holistic human development, and courageous engagement in mission among Muslims, marked by dialogue and respect. Your insights, the panelists, have deepened our understanding and renewed our commitment to carrying forward this legacy with fidelity and creativity, guided by the Holy Spirit. To the missionary sisters of Our Lady of Africa and the missionaries of Africa, the Lavigerie family, especially the Lavigerie Lay Missionary Association of Kenya, and the Bicentenary Committee, thank you for organizing this symposium with such care and dedication. Your collaboration is a living testimony to the unity and shared mission that Cardinal Lavigerie envisioned. To the rector, the chancellor, staff, students of Tangaza University, thank you for graciously hosting us, for providing a space where faith, scholarship, and mission converge. Your dedication and active participation have made this day a genuine celebration of history, mission, and hope. Tangaza University has formed countless missionaries who continue to make significant contributions to the proclamation of the gospel and the transformation of God's kingdom here on earth. And finally, to each one of you who participated, thank you for your presence, your attention, and your engagement. May the legacy of Cardinal Lavigerie continue to inspire us to be bold disciples, missionaries, witnesses of the gospel, and tireless defenders of human dignity. Indeed, today, in today's symposium, we have witnessed a synodal church, a community of pilgrims of hope, deeply rooted in both prayer and action. Asanteni sana, merci beaucoup, thank you very much.
Thank you. We invite Father Oswald to come forward.
I've been asked just to give a final thank you, and that is my work. So I would like to thank all of you for your participation. I would like to thank God, and I'm inviting each one of us to stand up to thank God with the prayer, which I hope that it is already on the board. So we can stand up. Is it there? Okay, let us pray together. So we can start it. Cardinal Charles Lavigerie, Marcarism, simplicity. Our Mother Mary has always been journeying with us in our Christian journey. So as a conclusion, we will pray through her intercession to continue accompanying each one of us in our journey of faith. Sancta Maria, socorre miseris, iuva pusilanimes, reprofabiles, ora pro populo, intercede pro clero, intercede pro devoto femineo sexu, sensiatones, tum juvamen, culpum ceterebram, tuam sancta, Our Lady of Africa, pray for us. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless us and protect us in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let us go in peace to love the Lord and one another. Amen. Thank you and have a good evening.
Just announcements. As we go out, we kindly request each one of us, if one of you, to just stand at the entrance to have a family picture. That is the only thing we are requesting. And then we have tea to get some strength as you journey back home. And then last one, it seems that for the priest, if anyone has taken a red stool from Tangaza Chapel and might have forgotten it in his bag, kindly put it back. Thank you.